Stampers, this is Dena from pocketfulofstamps.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. Instead of doing a project from start to finish, I'm just going to play with our new Brusho color crystals and kind of see what happens. I want to show you a couple ways that I've used them, so let me get started. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, so I have a whole stack of watercolor paper here just in case. And I've also stamped and embossed a few images that I want to play with. I want to start actually with this butterfly. This is from the new Beautiful Day stamp set. And I'm going to try and recreate a card that I posted a couple of weeks ago. And I'm not expecting it to be exact because I don't think we can recreate anything exactly with Brusho. But I want to show you what I did because I've actually had a lot of questions about it. So I'm going to start here. I embossed my image with gold embossing powder. And I want to get my water going here. What I did on this card after I embossed it is I just brushed water all inside the image. Whoops, I've got a lot of water there. We'll see what happens. This is actually my favorite way to use the Brusho, but I'm going to show you some other ways too. So just brush the water all inside that embossed image. And then I'm going to take the green and the blue and just sprinkle a little bit kind of randomly here. Ooh, see, there's purple in there too. I love that when there's mixed colors in there. So cool. A little bit of blue. Okay. You can leave your image like this if you want to, with the colors kind of mixing a little bit. I like to now go with my aqua painter again, get that a little bit drier, and kind of brush the color to fill in the entire image. I do want to make sure that I'm cleaning my paintbrush after every section so that I'm not going to mix those colors too much. And every time you do this, it's going to be a little bit different every time. But that's kind of what makes it fun. Some of these are going to be darker. You can see where I had the blue at. And then where the green is a little bit, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Let's see what we get here with this purple in here. Oh, more blue. But lighter. And actually, I want to see if I can get that section there a little bit lighter. There we go. Ooh, there's some really dark blue in there too. I really, really love how these crystals have some different varying colors in there too. This one I see some yellow and some more purple. And even if your paper gets a little dry while you're doing this, those crystals are going to activate again when they get wet. So don't worry about rushing. And the crystals that are outside the edge here, I don't know if you can see. Let me hold this up here. You can see there's some crystals out here. Those are not going to activate at all unless they get wet. So when I get done with this, I'm actually going to set it aside and let it dry completely, and then I can just brush those extra crystals off and not have them on my paper. Okay, so there's my first little butterfly. Like that. I'm going to set that one aside to dry. And let's see. This one I embossed. This is a new image. This one I embossed. Well, what I did is I wanted the black embossing, so I inked my image up with the Versamark pad and then stamped it in the black and then embossed it with clear. And I think on this one I'm going to do the same thing. Color in. We're going to try some different colors this time. So I'm just coloring in with my aqua painter, getting, whoa, that's a lot of water on there. If you get a little bit too much, you can always dab it with your paper towel, which I might need to do because there's a lot of water on that center part there. There we go. All right, and on this one, I'm gonna try and get a little bit of the green just down here on a leaf. Sometimes I don't think my holes are quite big enough, but I got a little bit on there, I can see it. Ooh, and I got a little bit up here too. Then I thought on this one I would try some orange, maybe down here at the bottom, a little bit. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. And then I'm gonna go up to the top and add some more yellow. And this one I also wanna do a little bit of blending. So down here at the bottom, we'll just do that little bit of green. And then I'm going to start down here at the bottom where the orange is. And maybe pull a little bit of that color up, but not all the way to the top. Ooh, this is going to be really pretty. And then go to the top and pull the yellow down a little bit. And sometimes you get the crystals you can still see and they haven't quite dissolved all the way. Just add a little bit more water to that and those will dissolve out, kind of blend together. And same with this one, I've got some crystals around the edge I can see that aren't wet, so they're not activated. So when this gets dry, I can brush those off. And actually, I might pull this one out again in a minute and show you something else really fun that you can do with that. Look how pretty that is. Ooh, I love it. Love it. That black just sets off those colors. All right, let me do just a background for you. Brush some of these crystals off here. Okay, on this one, this is my favorite way to do a background. I just like to, again, take my aqua painter, get some color on here. I like a real loose kind of edge. So I'm just going to paint some water on here. I can see I've got a few little blue loose crystals floating around there. That's okay. All right, let me do the green and a little bit of green. I know a couple of people I've seen will take their lids off and kind of get more crystals on here. I'm a little afraid to take my lids off, honestly. So maybe I'm too much of a rule follower, I'm not sure. Okay, this actually could be a really cool background if I just leave it alone, but I kind of don't like the flecks. I like it to be more smooth and blended. So do the same thing. I'm just going to go in here with my aqua painter, kind of try and stay within that water line that I did. Clean my brush off every once in a while. Well, I'm still getting a little bit of those. Actually, I kind of like that. A little bit of those color flecks in there. This right here I can tell is a whole section that didn't get water on there, so it's pretty wet. This will be a really pretty background for something. And I am finding that it's a good idea just to sit down and play with it, make a bunch of backgrounds, and then when they're good and dry, then you can make them into cards, which I probably will do some and just have pictures of them posted. Some of the backgrounds that I'm going to do here. So that's just a real loose line background. You've got a little bit of blue in there, some green, yellow, orange. It'll be a fun background for a project. I'll set that one aside to dry. Another one I did, here, let me get another one of these embossed images. I wanted to do something with this. I embossed this, the musical notes background stamp in silver. And I have not tried anything with this yet. I want to see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to add water and just kind of follow a little bit the image that's there. And then I thought this would be really pretty with like a blue background. So we'll shake some of this blue on here. Ooh, that's going to be pretty with the silver. And I can see a few places where I don't have water. I might kind of brush some water in there. Look at, oh, that blue is just such a pretty color. Wow, that is so pretty. Okay, and this is one where I think I can see some darker spots and some lighter spots. Oh, I'm tempted to take my paper towel and blot off a little of that dark color, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, maybe I'll just leave that one. When it's dry though, I'll probably go back and just buff off a little bit of the color so that the silver is gonna show a little bit more. But I think I'm gonna leave that one just like it is and set it aside. Well, I got a little bit of, you'll notice I've got some extra water on here. When this dries, it's gonna, it'll be fine, but sometimes if you get a little bit too much water, it'll run at the edges. And you can blot that off a little bit, but if you can be patient and just let it dry, it gives you a really neat effect where it's kind of lighter and darker where it pools a little bit. So let me set that one aside. Okay, oh, here's another way you can use this. Sorry, I was looking at my notes up here. All right, another way that you can use this is to take one of our little spritzers and actually wet your paper this way instead of with the aqua painter. So what I want to do here is just spritz my paper a little bit. And let's do a little red this time. Oh, look at that. I love it when those color crystals just explode. Ooh, I love it. That is so cool. Okay, so I have a little bit of the red on there, and I can leave it alone, or I can even add a little bit more water, spritz it a little bit more. If you guys can hear my dogs, I'm sorry. They got locked into a room because, you know, if the mailman shows up or something, they're sure he's going to kill me. So they're locked in a room and they're whining, but they'll live, don't worry. Okay, on this one, I am going to take a paper towel and just kind of blot it a little bit. Take a little bit of that extra color off of there. That's going to be a pretty background. Okay, so we'll see what we can do with that later on. And I also wanted to show you if you like a straighter edge, and also this is another good idea if you want to keep your paper from warping too much, is you can tape your cardstock to a piece of cardboard and watercolor it. This will also give you really nice straight lines, but it also keeps your paper from warping if you just leave it on there till it dries and then really quickly peel it off. All right, so on this one, I'm gonna do the same thing. Add some water on here and go all the way to the edges. And those, when I peel this off later on, I'll have nice straight edges there. I'm going to add, let's see, a little bit of the orange and a little bit of the red down here and a little bit of the yellow. Ooh, that's going to be pretty too. Ooh, that's going to be really pretty. I'm so tempted. Sometimes I'm so tempted to, I can't do that. All right, sometimes I'm so tempted just to get in there and move things around, but I'm going to let that one go because I think that's going to be pretty just the way it is. All right, let me flip this around here and we'll try something different. Some different color combinations. On this one, I hope I can see I have some yellow in my pen here. the same thing. Add my color or my water. This time I'll make sure I have water on the whole thing. Oop, I can tell I'm picking up little crystals from other stuff, but that's okay. It's all good. All right, this time we're going to use a little blue. And I'll add a little green. I love the way these move around. We'll add a little yellow. Oh, that's going to be a pretty background too. All right, something I saw another demonstrator do that I thought was really neat was they used the shimmery white paste with the crystals. And I want to try that on one of these little background pieces. So I have my mask and my little knife here. And what you want to do is you want to sprinkle your crystals on dry. So we'll do a little red, add a little orange, and maybe we'll add a little tiny bit of yellow here on the edges. Okay. Then you're going to take your mask and lay it down on top of here. And because the embossing paste is a liquid, it's going to react with that paste or with the crystals. And it's going to do some really cool things here. Ooh, see, it's turning red there. I'm going to go all the way to the edges here. Oh, well, except I can't wipe it off on there. So let me quick get this. I didn't think that ahead. Normally, I think I would put that into a little jar or something to keep it separate because I could use that again for something else. But I wasn't prepared for that. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, look at that. Really pretty background. We'll use that on something too. And those should dry nice and flat because they're on that cardboard. All right, let me try one more background here with these. One really cool thing you can do here is if you just want to, let me get this really good and clean. Okay, you can just color the leaves. This is embossed in white. And actually, let me do both of these here because they're going to look very different because one is embossed in white and one is embossed in gold. So you can use similar colors or different colors. Actually, for the green here, I'm going to use the green on the leaves. If you color just part of an image and you're patient and wait for it to dry, you can go back and color another part of an image and end up with a completely different, or use a completely different color. And they will, because you're using it on dry, the crystals won't react. So if we stamp the green on here, and then stamp them again, or sprinkle them again over here on this one, you can see how, oops, you know what, I think that got a little dry. Let me add some more water on here. Oops, that already has a little bit of crystals on it too. Okay, a little bit there, a little bit over here. And I want to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of add, or kind of move those colors around a little bit to color that in. And you can see just by changing the embossing color, you can even get a little bit different look. This one, well, I guess you get a resist on both of them, but this one you can kind of see more of a resist because it's with white powder. All right, and I know I said you really have to wait until this dries, so what I'm going to do here is take another paper towel and just kind of blot this a little bit so I can go with another color and show you, if you start with a dry image, what you can do. So, oh, here, before I do that, let me brush off these dry crystals. Okay, then I can go, whoa, I got some purple in there. Go and add some more where my flowers are, or where my flower is. The petals, anyway. And I'm picking up a little bit of color from some of those stray crystals, but that's okay. It's all gonna blend out here in a second. On this one, I'm gonna use a little bit of red and a little bit of orange. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on a piece earlier, just kind of start where the darker color is. Kind of just brush those colors around a little bit and blend them. And then when I get to the lighter color, I can clean it off. And still blend a little bit. And even though I have a little bit of purple in there, I think that's still going to be really pretty. Ooh, ooh, I like it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh, and it sounds like my granddaughter is awake from her nap, so I might be close to finishing up here because I have to go get her out of bed. Can you hear her yelling back there? All right, hopefully that gives you guys a few ideas for ways to use Brusho. And I will let these dry really good, and then I will put them together with some cards and have some pictures to show you. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, happy stamping.